So I kind of grew up in like a very religious family. So a lot of what I grew up with was like going to church and doing that every Sunday. But I was always really infatuated with like worship and like people with like singing and all the microphones and instruments. And even as a young kid, I was very like interested in that kind of thing. I was lucky enough to also have family members that were musical too. So my dad played, a lot of my uncles did, and most people in my family sang. So it was just music was just always kind of a part of my life.
Breaking the silence, taking the dive in. Nikki pulling strings like she playing the violin. Made in his likeness, radiant vibrance. Give them all glory, ain't no way to deny it. She gon' make you laugh, she gon' stimulate your mind. Making things shake, she ain't in no wasting time. They can come close but can't imitate the grind. Got a different way to illustrate and innovate designs. BCS podcast, gotta watch that. Teaching us the game, that mean Nikki got class. If you watch it once, you gon' wanna stop back. This an opportunity that you cannot pass. Unleash your inner voice, cause better days coming. Better days, get ready for better days. Better days, better days. Better days, get ready for better days. Better days, better days.
When we find courage to speak, we give others permission to heal. Welcome back to another episode of Breaking the Silence podcast, the podcast where I share stories that inspire, empower, and help you find your voice. I'm your host, Arthur Nikki Nicole, and each week I sit down with some incredible guests who are turning their pain into purpose and making an impact in this world. Today, I'm honored to welcome Israel Hadden. He is a hip hop artist, producer, and musician. He has such a bio that will blow your mind. But I'm not gonna give you too much. I'm gonna let him tell his story. So after the countdown, please welcome this amazing gentleman to the platform.
This ain't a happy love story. You told me go to hell, so I went to purgatory. Am I doing well, baby? I can't really tell. Ask the devil for your back, but I ain't got a soul to sell. This ain't a happy love story. You told me go to hell, so I went to purgatory. Am I doing well, baby? I can't really tell. Ask the devil for your back, but I ain't got a soul to sell.
My life is falling off the drugs I keep withdrawing.
Hey, how you doing?
Yo, what is up?
Now, I gave him a little snippet. Now, you got to tell them a little bit more about you.
Okay. Well, I've kind of just been doing music. I mean, basically my whole life, but as of right now, I go under the performance name IZ. I do a bunch of hip hop stuff in the Northwest, mostly in Idaho, but occasionally Washington and Oregon. I also play in a band, Dozey Dubs. I'm the drummer for them. And then I also do production as well. So I create my own beats and do mixing and mastering, all that kind of fun stuff. So I jack of all trades, I guess.
Nice. Now, take me back in the time and tell me, when did you first fall in love with the mic?
Oh man, I kind of grew up in like a very religious family. So a lot of what I grew up with was like going to church and doing that every Sunday. But I was always really infatuated with like worship and like people with like singing and all the microphones and instruments. And even as a young kid, I was very like interested in that kind of thing. I was lucky enough to also have family members that were musical too. So my dad played, a lot of my uncles did, and most people in my family sang. So it was just music was just always kind of a part of my life from a pretty young age. So I think I really started to kind of find my stride just within the last probably 6 or 7 years. Just like playing shows and learning how to record and use the different DAWs and stuff to create electronic music or beats or whatever I was trying to do. So, but music has definitely always been just like a general part of my life.
Nice. I love it. So now, can you walk me through a creative process that, from the beginning of when the idea comes to, creation, the emotion, all of it in, creating a song. Like what does it take for you to get a song down and record it?
I mean, it's kind of a hard question because it kind of changes every time that I do it. Like sometimes it's really quick and I already have like an idea for what I want to do. But like what I definitely will say for sure is that just like creating a space for you to be creative is like the number one ingredient. Like you just have to have a, whether it's an instrument or like a beats or like just get yourself in a space where you have all the tools to like make what you want happen. It's like an artist setting up a canvas, like an artist may have an idea for like painting a picture, but they're not really there until they get the canvas set up and they get all their paint ready and they're like, okay, I'm ready to paint. What do I want to paint? And I kind of try to just create that like space for myself when I am in the mood to create music, whether that's just like grabbing a guitar and practicing or like getting my doll set up and get everything ready to go. But um at least for my hip hop stuff, I'd say usually with that, I already have like a lot of pre-written stuff already. Like I just spend a lot of time. I mean, actually, I've got some here. Like I've just got books and books of stuff that I write just constantly, just like, rhymes and stuff. But then once I kind of get myself in that creative space and then I like make a beat or something and I find something that like I enjoy and that I think sounds good, then I kind of start digging into the lyrics and I'm like, okay, well, what do I have that'll like fit this or what will like make this? And then I don't know, whenever it comes together, it just like it always makes sense. I don't really know how to explain it, but it's just like it sounds right and it sounds good. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is like something I fuck with, and like this sounds awesome. And you can hear it when it comes together. Like, it's a really important part of being an artist, being able to be critical of your own music and be like, nah, that's not good, nah. But then like when you find it, you're like, oh, that's it. That's what I was looking for.
Right, right. But you know what? Like some people say they have to be in like a quiet area to write, or some people have to have instrumental. But I love the way you put that about the artist having the canvas and setting it up, from the beginning. That's a really good concept. But me personally, like when I sit down and write, I gotta be in either a quiet area or maybe instrumental. Sometimes I can be driving or doing something and an idea just come to me, boom. That sounds good. Now, what made you choose hip hop as your genre?
Well, I kind of have a couple different genres I go over, but I've definitely really been, I've been in the local hip hop scene here in Boise for about 4 years, maybe five. I've opened up for like some pretty big artists. I've been on the radio. You know, I'm basically doing shows every single week. And so I originally started with just like a love for hip hop, like when I was growing up, because I was like a skater when I was a kid. So I was always like down at the skate park and my parents were really strict about like what kind of music I was allowed to listen to. But then once I started getting like, I think like my first big like inspirations, like when I was first heard it was like Odd Future, like original Odd Future back in like 2012 or whatever. I was like listening to them off SoundCloud and they were just like a bunch of kids making some like crazy ass music. And I was like, what is this? Like, I kind of like it. And then obviously another big one, like for me at least, was Nas, like listening to him and his like, he is like one of the lyrical like geniuses of our age, like just the way he flows with the beat and like and there's something about that like East Coast, because I grew up on the West Coast, so I never really heard like a lot of East Coast stuff, but once I heard Nas I was like, oh dude, this is something else. And then I'd probably say my third was like Mac Miller. Like once I heard his hip hop and the way he kind of went outside the box but still like kept it real, like I don't know, there was just, I realized that there was like a whole genre of music that I'd never even like fully knew, and I was like, I don't know like what this is, but I want to dive into it. And then I just like fell in love with it. And that was probably around like, I don't know, 11 or 12, maybe 13 when I kind of started first listening. And it just, yeah, it's like I continue to fall in love with it. Like I'm a part of the hip hop movement now, and I'm just like, oh, this is so cool to watch, dude. Like there's so much incredible talent and like, so many great people that I know now. But like back then I had no idea. I was just like, I like if I wanted to listen to hip hop, like my parents were like, we got Lecrae, and I'm like, yeah, he's cool, but like I want something, else, like I want some like something real.
That's fun. Yeah, it's cool, but so now you've been open about your struggles with mental health. How does that tie into your songwriting and your production process?
Well, I mean, to be totally honest, like if your art is not a reflection of yourself, then like what are you creating? You know what I mean? And at least for me, like throughout my adolescence and I mean following me into adulthood too, but I kind of have a better handle on it now. But yeah, I've struggled with mental health since I was probably about like 11 or 12. And yeah, I've been diagnosed with like major depressive disorder, bipolar, and just like things that are I didn't understand at the time as a kid, but I went through some stuff in life and I was at a really like low point in like my early 20s. And that's kind of when I really like found music in a different way. Like I'd been creating music up to that point, but then I really found like like the thing in my heart or whatever, like my soul, that I was just like, I want to express through this medium, like what I'm going through and what, not just like the traditional, like, oh, let's make it sound good. It's like, no, I'm going to speak my truth and I'm not going to be afraid to say it. And I'm going to be real. And whatever people think about that, then whatever. But at least I can, at the end of the day, be like, yeah, I poured my heart into that. And it's interesting. It's interesting listening to some of my music I released like a couple years ago because I was just in a very different mindset than I was nowadays. And it's just like kind of a part of who we are as people. Like we're constantly changing. We're leaving old paths behind and becoming the next version of us. And I guess my music is more of just like a recorded journey of like where I've been going the last couple years. And it's cool to like listen back and be like, oh wow, that I was in a really dark place back then, but like I'm glad I got it out and was able to do what I'm doing now.
But I was having a conversation with someone. I forget who I was talking to, but we was talking about writing in general. You can write something really good when it's about something you went through that hurts you.
Hmm.
But when you sit down and try to write something that's good, something that makes you happy, it's harder. Well, for me anyway. So now with you, is it easier for you to write about, your life experiences and, the bad things that are happening? Or is it easier for you to write about something that's good happening in your life?
I mean, it kind of depends on the day, honestly. Like I'd say like probably one of my more like popular hip hop songs. It's called Brand New Day, but like I play it live all the time, just at my shows, and I play it with my band and stuff too. And people really like that song, but that's probably like the easiest, like stupidest song I've ever written because it's like compared to some of the like the other lyrical stuff that I do, it's just about like waking up and just having a positive outlook on the day and just being like, yesterday was shit. Why am I feeling this way? Like, still just like approaching it with positivity. And I remember when I wrote that song, I just like the song happened just as it is. Like I just woke up, I had a cup of coffee, it was a good day, the sun was shining, and I was just like, today's gonna be a good day. And I was like, you know what? I want to capture that feeling. I want to capture that energy into like lyrics. And it's definitely not as like lyrically complex as like some of my other songs that I've released, but for some reason it's the most popular one. And I'm just like, huh, it's funny how that happens. Like sometimes you just got to be like ready to catch the moment, whether it's good or bad or whatever. Like not even necessarily focusing on like what the outcome is going to be. Like that's why I really like Rick Rubin a lot, because he kind of talks about like as soon as you make something for the audience, like you've already ruined the piece of art. Like you have to make it for wherever you're at in that moment and just be like self-aware enough to like capture the moment you're in and be like, oh shit, I gotta go like run to my computer real quick and like, or I gotta like take out a voice memo and like just spit whatever I'm thinking. Like just being able to have that self-awareness goes a really long way.
I like that. The fact you said that whenever you're making it for the audience, you just ruined it.
Hmm.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah,
So
Rick Rubin's got a really good book on it. I'd highly recommend reading it.
wow. So now I know all your songs are probably like choosing your children, but if you had to choose, which one of those songs would be your favorite song that you created, and why?
Oh, I mean, I've put out like 5 albums in the last 4 years, and so there's a lot to choose from. But like, I'd say at least for me, like my personal favorite will always be Prisms, off the Dead Zone EP that I did. Just because it really caught like a very like rare moment in my journey as an artist to where I was like, at that time I was like really depressed and I was really sad, and I was going through like a really bad divorce, and I was like going through drug addiction, and I was just in like a really hard spot mentally, but I still was finding the room to like create and like let those emotions out and like, find a constructive way to deal with what I was going through. But even in that song, you can kind of hear like a bit of optimism mixed in with the sadism a little bit, where you're just like, oh, well, like I'm suicidal, that's cool, but also like, it's a part of who I am. And I think that was like the first time I really like fully realized that like I didn't have to like fight my demons, but like instead I needed to learn how to like make peace with them and like dance with them. And that was kind of one of the more darker ones that I released, but also like Prisms is just a really fun song to perform. Like every time I'm on stage and I pull that one out, people are just like, whoa, those lyrics are crazy. And I'm just like, yeah, dude, like I tried to be creative with it.
Not the lyrics are crazy, but I try to be creative. Now, with the music industry being so oversaturated, everybody sounds the same, and it's being to the point where you really can't make anything in the music industry. It's just totally different now, from CDs to cassettes, records, all this good stuff. How do you stand out from everybody in the hip hop era?
I mean, I guess kind of that's the hard thing. That is it's a great question. Because yeah, there is like, because music is so easy to make nowadays, like the whole market is saturated. Like there's so many artists out there, so many people making music, but like the way that I've found at least to like at least stand out like a little bit is just doing it like grassroots style. Like you can make some really dope music and be a really good artist, but like if you're not going to your local hip hop shows, like if you're not connecting with the promoters and like actually like on the ground there yourself physically like making connections with people, then like it's not going to happen, because like there's so many rappers that hit you up, be like, I'll do the show, whatever, and like they don't even show up to sound check or whatever. Like you have to be not only like a rap artist, but you have to be a performer as well, and like get ingratiated into your local hip hop scene wherever it is, because ultimately like the local hip hop scenes, at least that like I'm a part of in the Northwest, are like super tight. Like, and the people who get the spots to do the cool shows are the people who show up and are there. So like that's number one. Just do that. But then also what comes with that, once you do make connections with people, is that you're able to meet good producers, you're able to meet show promoters, you're able to meet people who are going to help you level up in what you're trying to accomplish as an artist. And so it's like they kind of go hand in hand. Like you got to, if you want to make it, then you have to go start at the bottom, but also the more you climb, the more you meet people, and they're like, oh, yo, come over to my house, I'm cooking up this beat, I got a studio, whatever. Like that's how you meet those people. He's like, you got to go meet them face to face, not just like follow them on Instagram.
Right, right. Now, by the way, I like the song Prism. I'm not gonna lie, I like the song.
Fuck yeah.
I was like, he's saying something in that song, but I didn't know it was like your story. I didn't know that was a dark place in your top. I like that song. So now, to say that, when I listen to music, I listen to maybe like the first 30 seconds of a song. I used to be real bad with it. If the beat doesn't catch me, then of course I'm just gonna go to the next song.
Hmm.
But with that song Prisms, I listened to that. The beat caught me from the beginning.
Hmm.
Then I had to listen to it maybe about 3, 4 times to get the lyrics too. But what do you think makes a song a hit? The beat or the lyrics?
Well, man, it's I've been reading this really good book by Victor Wooten. He's like a Grammy nominated bass player. But he thinks about music in such an interesting way, because for him, he was like this great bass player, but like he was just looking at music as like notes, like this, like the notes have to go this way. But in reality, there's so many dynamics in music that also make a huge part of what you're creating, that it's important to not just think about the notes or whatever. You got to think about things like the groove and the rhythm, like using silence as an instrument. Like those are all huge, especially using silence. Like I see people nowadays in like, modern hip hop just like running 5 tracks at once with drums, and they're just like, why can't I hear the drums? And it's like, because you're not giving room for the drums. Like you need to, like, when the kick is hitting, you need to lower the volume on these tracks and then bring it back up in like a quarter note or whatever, and like give the silence to the drums so that you can have the swing like in the beat. Like it's really important part of making a good catchy song. Good melodies are really good too, but I tend to think of music more as like a feeling. Like it's not about what you can technically do on paper or what you can write down, but it's like, how does it make you feel? Like how does it make you move? Does it like hit your soul? And like is the beat so good that like once you hear it, you're immediately just like, oh damn, like, because I've heard really good beats with really terrible artists, and I've heard really terrible beats with great artists, but like being able to bring a good beat together and a great artist is like a recipe for success. Like you just got to be willing to be objective about it and be like, nah, this isn't it, dude. Like we need to find out how to make it bounce more or sound this way. Like, and it's never a mean thing for people too. Like that's a weird thing that always like, it's still kind of, I don't know, makes me laugh a little bit in the music industries, because people get so offended when you're just like, nah, this isn't it, dude. They're like, they take it personally. They're like, oh, what? You don't like me as an artist? And they're like, no, I'm not saying I don't like you as an artist. I'm just saying this song's not it, dude. Like, I'm just being objective about the music, and it's not like a negative thing against you. I'm just saying that, like, with my ears, and also like music's subjective. Like, if I don't like it, then maybe somebody else will. Like, don't just take my opinion for it and run with that. But like, I'm not gonna lie to you and be like, oh yeah, I fuck with this. I'm gonna be like, nah, I don't think this is it, but here's how you can make it better, or maybe you should switch this up or whatever. But that's a very important part of being an artist, is learn to take constructive criticism. It
Right,
helps.
right. But I was talking to another artist, and we were talking about the songs, and was like, you know what? If I hear something later on and I see I can improve it, I'll pull the song back down and redo it. And I said, you'll do what? I said, you can do that. You can pull the song back down after you don't register and everything. He was like, yeah, pull it back down, put it back up with the changes. I was
Well, and
like,
it's also like it's really cool to hear like an evolution of an
"Mhm,
artist, or at least I've had like some of my fans who like listen to my music tell me that, is like, you know, like the first album I ever released on Spotify was like maybe now just about 4.5 years ago. There's maybe like 1 or 2 songs on there that are okay. The other 8 are not good at all. Like it's rough. But like I keep it up there because I try to, like, at least for me, like as an artist, like I try to make an album every year. Like I give myself a whole year. I'm like, I'll do a 10-song album, make it throughout the year, pick and choose my favorites or whatever songs I'm making. But people have told me they like to see the evolution. They're like, it's so cool to like go back and listen to your first album and then go listen to like the newest one you dropped that year and be like, whoa, what a crazy difference. Like, so it's all part of it's not about being perfect. It's not about having a perfect discography or a perfect artist image. It's like, just be yourself, like just unapologetically, like just make it, even if it's not good, like keep making it. And then 2, 3 years from now, you're going to be like, oh man, I'm really glad I like made all that stuff, because that led me to where I am right now.
right. Because every year you're going to grow in some type of way. Every year
Hmm.
you're going to change. So now, out of all your songs, what song of yours reflects who you are right now, and not who you used to be, but who you are right now? If you had to choose one.
Hmm. Ooh, that is a tough one. I'd say probably, there's a couple ones. There's some songs that are off Nightlife that are pretty good too, but then I also just released an album last, or like earlier this year in like January, called uh Cycles. And I really liked that album specifically just because it was about like going through the same thing over and over, and then like having the realization that you're putting yourself in that. And I made a lot of songs, or with a lot of those people on that album, that were just reflective of a more confident person that I am now. Like instead of being, like I still use music as like my way to, it's like therapy for me, I guess. Like instead of like, I mean, I do go to therapy as well, but like that's my journaling. That's why I write all my lyrics, is because like when I got to get something out, like it's how I get all the stuff that's going on in here out into like some physical form. um but it's actually wild because the last album I released is like not as chaotic and depressing. Like it's very like self-aware. I'd say it's like kind of self-conscious rap. um there's just like some, yeah, there's just some very interesting songs on there that I didn't really like. It wasn't hard to create that album, I guess. Like some albums I've put like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into, but that album just kind of flowed out very freely and creatively, and it was just like me just taking, I probably made like 50 songs this year, or like last year, like when I was making the album. I probably made like 50 songs, and then I picked like the best 10 of those songs and was like, okay, those are what I'm going to use for this album. But I was just like, last year was just like a total year of creativity for me. Like I was creating so much different stuff, and I just, there was no more like floodgates or barriers in my way, and I wasn't in my own way. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, you know, try to make like a song every 3 days or whatever, or every 4 days or whenever I can, like once a week, try to make a song. Like, and it piled up really fast.
Wow. Now
Like,
50 songs and you only chose 10.
yep.
So what you gonna do with the other 40?
I don't know. Keep them on my hard drive, probably.
Wow. Well, keep it on hard drive. So now when listeners press play on any of your songs, what do you hope they feel or at least take away from the lyrics and the sound?
I mean, like, I guess first of all, I'd say I hope that people feel like connected and seen. Like that's I want my music to connect with whoever's listening to it, and maybe I'm able to like help put into words like some of their truths that they feel but they don't know how to like correlate or something, and then they listen to a song and they're like, oh my gosh, like that's exactly how I feel right now, or whatever it is. But I've also had people like compliment me on the beats and stuff like that too. They're like, yo, dude, the beats are so sick, the lyricism awesome. Like who does all your mixing? Who does all your stuff? And I'm like, me. Like I make all the beats, I do all the mixing, mastering, production, recording. Like I do all of it myself. And so when someone likes a full song, it's not like I'm just like taking those beats off YouTube or whatever. It's like I'm literally making the beat, I'm doing the vocals, I'm doing the mixing, and then I'm processing with the mastering afterwards. So it's like a whole process. So when people can like enjoy, they're like, "Oh, this beat is sick." I'm like, "Thanks." Like I put some work into it, so I hope it's good. Like,
Wow. Now that has to be a lot of work. You make the beat, you mix it, you master it, and then you do the lyrics to go to it as well.
mhm.
Do you think that that's a better option for artists out here to have all that up under their belt? Because for one, it's going to save them some money, I'm sure. But do you think that'd be the best route for artists now, especially being independent?
Well, I mean, it depends, honestly. Like, and I get this question a lot because there's lots of people that approach me wanting to like learn how to use music programs and do that kind of stuff. And the reality is that like if you really want it that bad and you're willing to put the work in, then anybody can do this shit. Like like you can go on YouTube and find tutorials on whatever DAW you're using, whether it's FL or Ableton or Logic Pro or whatever, GarageBand, like doesn't matter. Like there's so many out there that you can use, and there's unlimited resources for you to learn how to use them. But just like anything in life, like it's going to take hard work. Like you're going to have to sit down in front of a computer for hours and hours and learn how to run the program, how to, bring up VSTs and bring up synthesizers and make a drum pad, and then learn how to mix everything and look at volume. And like, it can be a lot for some people. Some people just don't look at music that way. And that's not a bad thing. It doesn't mean they're like not creative or whatever, but it's just a different side of music. Like the only reason I'm at where I'm at with it right now is because I started using DAWs when I was like 12 years old. And so I'm like 14 years in right now. So now the process is really smooth and it just happens. But back then when I first started for like the first 4 years, I had no idea what I was doing. And like back then, they didn't have YouTube videos where you could just be like, how do I do this? Like there was none of that stuff on the internet. So it was just kind of like trial and error. You just had to like try some stuff out. And nowadays, there's a lot more resources out there. So I say it's easier for people to do that, but also like if that's not your thing, then like, if you don't want to put in the work to learn how to do that side of the music, then like focus on the lyrics and find a really good producer. There's plenty out there, especially nowadays. There's lots of people using those programs.
Yes, there's a lot of them out there, a lot out there
Hmm.
producing. But I agree. I agree. You got to be into it because, and that, if you don't have an interest in it, it's not gonna be something you're gonna do anyway. Because, like
Hmm.
you said, it requires time. It requires you to really take your time and
Hmm.
create. So, what's one moment in your entire career that reminded you that your gift really matters?
Hmm. Oh man, that's a tough question. I've had a lot of moments. I honestly would say like, so this actually was not with my, well, I don't know. There's a couple. Like I'd say like I've had some pretty cool moments in my hip hop career, but like the best show that I ever had that like really, I don't know, just like nailed the home for me that like this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and just kind of like confirmed everything I'd been working for. I don't know if you ever heard of Common Kings. They're like a pretty big reggae band out of LA and Hawaii, but they came through town and played at the Revolution, and they sold a little over like 1,000 tickets, and we were opening up for them. So it was just like a massive, massive crowd. And I was so nervous and I was having like crazy imposter syndrome. I was like, what am I doing here? Like, do I really know what I'm doing? Am I really cut out for this? Like, but then I remember we kind of have this like pre-stage ritual that we do where we all like get in the back, we like get our arms around each other. We're just like, this is going to be a great show. We're going to have a kick-ass time. We're going to fucking rock this. And then at the end of it, we do this thing called the yes ceremony where we literally just like sit there and we go, yes, 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 yes. Yeah, we just like pull in all the positive vibrations like all together, just like get super stoked. We're yelling it, jumping up in the air. And then as soon as we did that, I fucking just felt such a rush of like good energy and positive vibes. And instead of being scared, I was like just really stoked to go and do this show with my friends. And so we went and jumped on stage and played for like 45 minutes, and we absolutely just blew people's minds. People were just, because like even though we're local, a lot of people didn't know who we are. They're just like, who's this band of hippies? Like, who the fuck are these guys? And, and then we jump on stage and we just absolutely just crushed it. And I remember we got off stage and the lead singer for Common Kings, he was just like, whoa, like thank you for getting them warmed up for us. Like freaking they're ready to go. And I was like, thanks, dude. Like appreciate it. But
Wow.
yeah, that was the defining moment in my, I'd been working like 2 years for that up until that point. Then it was just like, oh, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. Like, fuck yeah, let's get
Let's
it.
get it. Let's get it. Wow. I love that for y'all. Talking about, yes. You should have been nervous. You knew you had that. You knew you
I
had
was terrified. I was like, I was shaking. I was sweating so bad. Like I was so nervous. But yeah, as soon as I get behind a drum kit, I'm just like, it all goes away and I just get focused on the rhythm.
that.
And yeah, it's my safe space.
Wow. So now, this is my least favorite part of the show, the last question. What does your music say that you could never say?
Hmm. I think that my music is very pro creativity and positivity, sometimes negativity, but ultimately like self-awareness. Like don't be scared of who you are, learn about yourself, the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, like embrace it and use it to do something. Like, be yourself unapologetically, and like if people don't fuck with that, then like don't give them a second thought. Like they're not worth your time. Like I hope my music can just be a safe space for people, especially people who are struggling with like mental health or, suicidal stuff or, going through relationships or whatever it is. Like I've got a song for it, I've got a song for however you're feeling. So, hopefully people can connect with that. And if I can just make a safe space for someone to enjoy themselves, even if it's just for like 2, 3 minutes and just forget about everything else, then I've done my job.
I know that's right. So now I'm getting ready to pass the mic to you. So after the countdown, The stage is yours. This is your moment to let everybody know how to find your music, how to follow your journey, anything that's coming up to you, and give a little advice to the young generation of artists that are coming up because music is not the way it used to be. We both know that. So give them a
Hmm.
little bit of advice of where to start. The first step. So after the countdown, the stage is yours.
Cool.
All right.
What's up, everybody? First, I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting Breaking the Silence. Because without you, none of this would be possible. None of it. See, Breaking the Silence started off with my voice, me coming out of my shell, me finding me, and doing something I should have done a long time ago. But then as time went by, I was like, you know what? There's some amazing people out here doing amazing things that I want to shine the light on. So that's why you are here. So thank you so much for being a part of Breaking the Silence and continuing to break the silence for me. But now I gotta ask you to do me a favor, real quick. Can you share this episode with somebody that resonates with, and make sure you do two more things: subscribe and turn your notifications on so you don't miss another episode. So let's get back into this episode.
Yeah. What up? It's your boy, Iz, also known as Israel Hadden. If you want to find me on socials, Israel Hadden, quickest way to reach me, and it's just my personal page. But also, if you want to find my Spotify, Apple Music, it's going to be i.z.iz. And I'm on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, whatever you listen to music on. I also got a new album that's going to be dropping here on December 15th, but it's not the one that you think it's going to be. I'm actually kind of taking a little break from making hip hop albums, and I am releasing a brand new EDM album. It's going to be like bass music, kind of like Wook bass, festival music. But I got a 10-song album I'm releasing on December 15th. So if you're interested in that, make sure that you keep posted on my Instagram. The DJ name I'm going under is going to be called Wubba Duck. That's why I got all these, because I got a show next week, my first DJ show, and I'm going to be throwing these out in the crowd. Got a couple dope DJs, and it's going to be a good time. But yeah, I guess just to end it all off, I'll say anyone out there who even has a slight tug at their soul to creativity, please don't give up on it. And it's not going to be perfect the first time, man. Like, it's not going to be the best stuff in the world. It's not going to be the best of the best music. But that's all a part of the process. It doesn't matter what you're creating or what level you're creating it at. It is about just creating something, being creative, taking the time out of your day to write some lyrics down, or, you know, making a beat on your favorite DAW that you're using, or grabbing a guitar, practicing singing, or, connecting with other people and jamming, or like whatever it is. The worst disservice that you can do yourself is not allowing yourself to be creative. Like, life is way too short for you not to chase those things. And I thought for a long time that there would be no way that I'd ever achieve anything musically at all. And for a few years, I didn't. But then once I put the work in, and I started believing in myself and actually putting the work out there, and ultimately willing to be vulnerable to people about who I was and who I am. Once you reach that point, that is when it starts to take off, and you start to find yourself as a musician about who you are and what you want to create. So just don't give up on yourself. Take the first steps. Don't wait 10 years, 20 years. Like, do it now while you still got time. And you'd be very surprised with how many other people are out there willing to support you and your music and help you. I'm always open to helping beginning producers, beginning hip hop artists. So if anyone ever has any questions, you already know where to find me. Israel Hadden, IZ, I'm more than happy to give people tips, pointers, whatever it is that they're looking for. And I know there's a lot of other people out there like me as well that's willing to help. So much love, everyone. Peace out. I'll see you on the flip side.
Wow, that was some great advice. Some great advice for real. Thank you so much for coming and supporting my journey. We're locked in from here. If there's anything I can do on my end to further help you, hey, you got my phone number. Call me.
Oh yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on your show. And yeah, I really hope that whoever this is supposed to reach, that it'll reach them. And I'm all about connection and positivity and creating. So like, let's not fight each other. Let's do this together. Like we're on the same boat.
Yes, it's easier to do it together.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
got to
and we
realize
will.
that it's easier. We're gonna win together, one way or the other. So we locked in
Absolutely.
for life. So like I said, if there's anything I can do on my end, just let me know. I do music promos. So anytime you release any song, just send it to me so I can highlight you.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I definitely down. I'll send you the album once I get it done. Yeah, it should be coming out in about a month and a half. But it's yeah, I'll email over. I'll email you over some demos. They're pretty crazy. So
Yeah, send me some demos, and that way I can get more awareness and bring some more awareness to your music, so we can get you out there.
awesome. Freaking thank you again. It was absolute pleasure.
You're welcome. Thank you, and thank you to everybody else that's tuned into this amazing episode of Breaking the Silence. Listen, make sure that you go stream his music. Listen to Prisms. That's one of my favorite songs right now, honestly. So I hope that today's conversation have reminded you that your voice matters, your story can inspire others. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Share this episode with somebody who needs it. Keep speaking your truth, embracing your journey, and breaking your silence. Because guess what? The world needs who? You and your story. So stay determined because you know what? We got this and we're going to do it together. Later.
Better days, slowly but surely it's a better space that'll waste my mind, so I meditate till I levitate, I elevate, but I learn not to hesitate no more, keep moving forward, chase my goals and focus more towards it, hate the lows but I need those to flourish, place my goal in front, that's what's important, so I ask myself what inspires me, breaking out of my shell, feeling yo shot quiet me, and now I'm breaking the silence like I'm Nick in the cold, let's go. Promise you gon' see better. Hey, gotta keep going till you see them. Promise you gon' see better. Hey, you gotta keep going till you see them.